Ravi sat inside the maintenance bay of the research station, watching the blinking lights on the control panel. The station floated in the silent darkness of space, far away from Earth, orbiting a red giant star. It was his job to check communication, relays, repair them if needed, and make sure the station's network stayed connected to the rest of the galaxy. Most days were slow. Today was not. A red alert flashed on his console. One of the far-range relay towers had stopped sending signals. Without it, the station would lose contact with several outer colonies. Ravi sighed, grabbed his repair kit, and stepped into his small shuttle. The shuttle's engines hummed as it drifted away from the station. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction. Ravi set the autopilot toward the damaged relay and leaned, back in his seat. He thought about his family on Earth, about how far he was from home. Space work paid well, but sometimes the silence felt heavier than the vacuum outside. He was halfway to the relay when something strange happened. The space ahead rippled like water touched by wind. At first, he thought it was an optical illusion, caused by the star's light. Then the ripples grew, twisting into a swirling shape. Before he could steer away, the shuttle shook violently. An energy wave wrapped around it, dragging it forward. Ravi shouted into the comms, but his voice was lost in static. Warning lights blinked across his controls. The shuttle spun, the stars vanishing as a bright blue tunnel formed around him. His stomach twisted as if gravity itself was bending. Then, without warning, the shaking stopped. Through the window, Ravi saw something impossible. A giant crystal dome rose from the surface of a green planet below. Sunlight reflected off its smooth surface, sending bright rays across the land. Inside the dome, he could see a city filled with strange towers, glowing bridges, and shimmering gardens. Rivers of silver water curved between streets lined with tall trees that had purple leaves. The shuttle's autopilot beeped. It was locked on a landing path he had not set. Ravi tried to take control, but the system refused. The shuttle descended, through the dome's outer barrier, which rippled like liquid as they passed. A bright plaza came into view. Hundreds of alien beings walked along wide paths, carrying baskets, talking, or riding small hovering platforms. The shuttle landed softly on a platform of white stone. The hatch opened automatically. Warm air filled with a sweet floral scent rushed inside. Ravi stepped out carefully, holding his repair kit like a shield. His eyes darted around, searching for any sign of danger. That was when he saw them. A group of tall alien women stood a short distance away. Their skin shimmered with faint natural patterns that shifted with the light. Their hair flowed like strands of liquid metal, silver and gold. They wore robes that seemed woven from glowing threads. Their eyes, larger than human eyes, glowed, faintly with soft colors. One of them, standing at the front, looked straight at him. She was unlike anyone Ravi had ever seen, yet there was something calm in her gaze. Her lips curved into a smile. She turned to her friends and spoke in a melodic language he could not understand. A small device on Ravi's wrist activated, translating her words into his own language. "That's my husband," she said. Ravi froze. The other women looked at him with curiosity and surprise. Some giggled softly, others whispered to each other. The woman who had spoken stepped closer, her movements smooth and graceful. "My name is Tahla," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. "You have come to me, just as the visions promised." Ravi blinked, his mind racing. "I think there's been some mistake," he said. "I don't even know you." Tahla tilted her head slightly. "You do not remember. That is expected. The visions come to the seer, not to the one who is called. But you are here. That means the time has come." Before Ravi could answer, a deep sound echoed through the plaza. It was like a distant horn, slow and powerful. The other women turned toward a tall tower at the far end of the plaza. From its balcony, a group of older aliens in elaborate robes watched the scene. Tala looked back at Ravi. "The council wishes to see you. You must come." "I didn't agree to," Ravi began, but Tala had already turned and started walking. Two of her friends followed closely, motioning for him to come along. Ravi's instincts told him to run back to the shuttle, but a quick glance showed it had powered down completely. Whatever force had brought him here had also taken away his ability to leave. With no real choice, he followed. They walked through wide streets lined with crystalline structures. Some buildings seemed to grow directly from the ground, their walls smooth and glowing faintly. Bridges arched gracefully over streams of silver water. Everywhere he looked, there were colors and shapes unlike anything on Earth. People stared as he passed, whispering to each other. A few reached out as if to touch him, but Tala kept them back with a soft word. Ravi could not understand what was happening, but he could feel it. This was not a random meeting. These people had been expecting him. Tala walked with confidence, as though this moment had been planned for years. Finally, they reached a wide staircase leading into the tallest tower in the city. Its walls shimmered like glass, yet its surface was warm when Ravi brushed his fingers against it. Inside, the air was cooler and filled with a faint humming sound. At the top of the stairs, a massive door slid open without touch. Beyond it was a circular hall with a ceiling so high it seemed to touch the inside of the dome itself. In the center stood a ring of tall chairs, each occupied by an alien elder. Their robes glowed with shifting patterns. Their eyes studied him like he was both a puzzle and an answer. Tala stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Honored council, the one from the vision has arrived." The eldest among them, a tall figure with skin like polished stone, leaned forward. His voice was deep and slow. "So it begins." Ravi's heartbeat quickened. "Begins what?" he asked. The elder smiled faintly. "The prophecy of the shield and the seer, and your place within it." Ravi took a step back. He wanted to deny it, to say they had the wrong person, but the eyes of the entire hall were fixed on him. Tala's expression was calm, certain, and unshakable. Somehow, without understanding why, Ravi knew this was the start of something that would change his life forever. Ravi stood in the great council hall, his heart still racing. The elder's eyes seemed to weigh him, as if measuring more than just his size or shape. Their gaze felt like it passed through his skin and searched his thoughts. He wanted to step back, but Tala's steady presence beside him kept his feet still. The eldest council member rose from his seat. "You are the one we have seen in the visions," he said. "The seer has spoken, and the signs are clear." Ravi frowned. "I think there's been some mistake? I don't know your people. I don't even know how I got here." "You came through the star path," the elder said. "It does not open without reason. The path chooses who may walk it, and the seer chooses who will stand beside her." Ravi turned to Tala. "Why did you call me your husband? We have never met." Tala met his eyes without hesitation. "In my people's way, when the seer sees a future bondmate, it is not a guess. It is truth. I have seen your face in my visions for many seasons. I saw you walking beside me in times of danger. I saw you holding the shield that would protect both our worlds. When I saw you step from the shuttle, I knew it was you." Ravi opened his mouth to protest again, but the elder raised a hand. "The seer's visions have never failed us. If she says you are her bondmate, then you are. This is our way." The weight of their words sank into him. He was thousands of light years from home, surrounded by people he had never seen before, being told he was part of a prophecy he did not believe in. He wanted to shout that they were wrong, but deep down a small part of him wondered about the strange force that had dragged his shuttle here. Could it really be chance? The elder stepped back, and another council member spoke. "The visions warn of a coming storm. An enemy fleet moves through the dark. They seek the heart of our city. Only the bond between the seer and the shield can unite our people and drive back the threat. Ravi's voice was quiet. You think I'm this shield? Tala nodded. Not think. No. The council dismissed the gathering, but Tala asked Ravi to walk with her. They stepped out of the tall tower and into the bright light of the city dome. The air was fresh, filled with scents of flowers and something faintly metallic around. The city was alive with movement. Hovering carts carried goods along the streets. Children with patterned skin like Tala's ran through gardens, laughing. Bridges arched over streams of silver water that reflected the dome's glow. Yafu. Do not believe me, Tala said as they walked. It's not that I don't believe you, Ravi said. It's just, this is all too sudden. One moment I'm fixing a relay, the next I'm here, and you're telling me we're married because of some vision. Bondmates, Tala corrected gently. Our bond is not a prison, it is a promise. But a promise is only as strong as the choice to keep it. They reached a wide courtyard filled with strange plants that seemed half flower, half crystal. Each petal reflected the light in shifting colors. Tala stopped beside one of the plants and touched a petal. It opened, releasing a soft chime like a bell. In our history, she continued, there have been 3 times when the seer saw an off-worlder as a bondmate. Each time, the stranger brought something our people could not find alone. A skill, a knowledge, a way of thinking that changed the tide of fate. And you think that's me? Ravi asked. I know it is you, she said again. Ravi looked away, unsure how to answer. He had no grand skills beyond fixing machinery. He was not a soldier, not a leader. But the way she spoke, the calm certainty in her voice, made him wonder if she saw something in him that he did not. As they continued walking, Tala showed him more of the city. The buildings seemed to grow like living crystals, their shapes flowing upward as if grown rather than built. Some walls shifted slightly, adjusting to the angle of the sun. Everywhere they went, people stared at him. Some smiled, others looked at him with doubt. It was clear that not everyone believed the prophecy. When they reached a smaller building near the dome's edge, Tala stopped. This will be your home, if you choose to stay. The door opened with a soft pulse of light. Inside, the rooms were simple but elegant, with curved walls that glowed faintly. A bed grew from the floor like a smooth stone, covered in soft fabric. A wide window looked out over the city gardens. I didn't choose to be here, Ravi said quietly. The star path chooses, Tala replied. But you can still choose how you walk it. Ravi walked to the window, staring out at the strange beauty of the city. What if I told you I just want to go home? Tala stepped beside him. If that is your wish, I will not chain you. But the path rarely opens twice. If you leave now, you may never return. Her words sank deep into him. He thought of Earth, crowded cities, polluted skies, the endless noise of traffic. Here, everything felt open, clean, almost alive. But it was also alien, filled with customs he did not understand. They stood in silence for a long moment. Finally, Tala turned toward the door. Tomorrow I will take you to the heart crystal. If you still wish to leave after that, we will search for a way. Ravi watched her leave, the soft glow of the doorway fading behind her. Alone in the strange room, he set his repair kit on the floor and sat on the bed. The fabric adjusted under his weight, shaping itself to him. He lay back, staring at the glowing patterns on the ceiling. Some part of him still told him this was all a mistake. But another part, the part that remembered the strange pull of the star path and the way Tala's voice carried certainty, whispered that maybe, just maybe, he was exactly where he was meant to be. The next morning, soft light filled Ravi's room. The dome above the city filtered the sunlight into gentle colors that moved slowly across the walls. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then the memory of yesterday returned. The strange city, the council. Tahla's words about him being her bondmate. A soft chime came from the door. When it opened, Tahla stood there. She wore a robe of deep blue that shimmered like water in the sun. "It is time," she said. Ravi sat up, rubbing his eyes. "Time for what?" "To see the heart crystal," she replied, "and to hear the full prophecy from the council." He followed her through the streets. The city was waking up. Merchants opened stalls filled with fruit-like shapes, some glowing faintly from within. Workers carried containers of clear liquid that seemed heavier than water. Children laughed as they chased small floating spheres that shifted colors in the air. The streets grew wider as they neared the center of the dome. Ahead, a great structure rose higher than the others. It was shaped like a spiral, its walls made of countless crystal layers that caught the light and sent it dancing across the ground. Inside, the air was cooler. A faint hum vibrated through the floor. They walked down a long corridor until they reached a chamber filled with a warm, golden glow. At the center of the chamber stood the heart crystal. It was massive, taller than any building Ravi had seen on Earth. Its surface was smooth, but shapes moved inside it, like flowing rivers of light. Every few moments, a pulse of energy passed through it, sending ripples of brightness across the walls. "This is the life of our city," Tahla said, softly. "The crystal keeps the dome alive. It purifies the air, powers the homes, and protects us from the storms beyond." Ravi stepped closer, feeling the faint warmth from the crystal. "And this is what the enemy wants?" "Yes," Tahla said. "If they take it, our city will fall." Before he could ask more, voices echoed from the far side of the chamber. The council elders entered, their robes flowing behind them. The eldest among them spoke first. "Ravi of Earth, you stand before the heart of our people. It is time you know the prophecy in full." Ravi turned toward them, feeling their eyes on him again. "I'm listening." The elder raised a hand, and the light inside the crystal shifted. Shapes formed, not clear pictures but moving patterns. "The seer will see a face from beyond the stars," the elder said. "When the storms of war gather, that face will walk through the star path and stand beside the seer. Together, they will hold the shield that will turn back the darkness." Another elder stepped forward. "The visions showed the shield as more than a weapon. It is a joining of two worlds, a bond of trust and unity. Without it, our people will not survive the coming trial." Ravi crossed his arms. "I understand. You believe this. But I'm not a warrior. I fix machines." The elder's gaze softened. "And that may be why the Star Path chose you. The enemy is not only strength. They have machines, weapons, and systems that seek to break ours. A shield can be built of more than metal. It can be built of knowledge." Tahla stepped closer to him. "I have seen you in the visions not only fighting but building, repairing, creating ways to protect what we hold dear. You were not holding a sword. You were holding tools." Her words struck something inside him. All his life, people had overlooked his work because it was not grand or exciting. Yet here they spoke of it as if it could save a world. Another elder spoke. "The enemy fleet moves through the dark now. Our scouts say they will reach our system in a matter of weeks. We must prepare. Will you help us?" Ravi hesitated. His heart wanted to say no, to find a way home before getting pulled into a war. But he remembered the streets outside, the children playing under the dome, the strange beauty of the city. If the crystal was taken, all of it would be gone. "I don't know how much help I can be," he said finally, "but I'll try." The elders exchanged approving glances. "Then you are already walking the path," the eldest said. Tahla's lips curved into a small smile. You have taken the first step. After the council left, Tahala guided Ravi to a balcony overlooking the city. From here, he could see the full span of the dome, the gardens, the glowing rivers, the crystal towers. In the distance, beyond, the dome's edge, the land stretched into rocky plains under a pale sky. You see why we must protect this, Tala said. Ravi nodded. If the enemy takes the crystal, everything dies. Yes, and the shield must be ready before they arrive. What is this shield, exactly? He asked. Tala looked thoughtful. The visions show it as both a device and a symbol. It is something built, but also something shared. I believe it is the joining of your skills and our power. Alone, either may fail. Together, they may be enough. Ravi leaned on the balcony rail, thinking. Then we'd better start planning. Tala smiled again, but there was a shadow in her eyes. There is more. The visions also show betrayal. Someone within the dome will try to open the gates for the enemy. Ravi straightened. You think there's a traitor? I know there is, she said quietly. But I do not yet know who. The weight of her words settled over him. Not only did they have to prepare for an outside attack, but danger could be hiding among the very people they were trying to protect. Tala stepped back from the balcony. We have much to do, Ravi of Earth, and little time to do it. As they walked back through the spiral halls of the council tower, Ravi glanced once more at the great heart crystal. Its light pulsed steadily, as if it were breathing. He realized then that whether he believed in the prophecy or not, this world was trusting him now, and if he failed, they would lose everything. From the moment Ravi agreed to help, his days changed. Tala took him to the dome's training grounds, a large open space where warriors practiced with weapons of light and energy. Some trained in pairs, moving with graceful speed, their blades leaving bright trails in the air. Others worked with large shield devices that could block attacks and reflect them back. This is where you will learn our ways, Tala said. Ravi gave a doubtful glance at the warriors. I'm not sure I can move like that. Tala's smile was calm. You will learn what you need. You are not here to be a copy of our fighters. You are here to be something new. The first hours were difficult. Ravi tried using a short energy staff, but it kept slipping in his hands. The shield device was heavy and reacted slowly to his commands. By the time they stopped for a break, his arms ached. You are used to tools, Tala said, handing him a cool drink. These are tools too, but they answer to thought as much as touch. Let them feel your intent. Ravi closed his eyes and held the shield again. He focused on the idea of blocking, of keeping something safe. When he opened his eyes, the shield's surface glowed brighter. It was not perfect, but it responded faster. That is the beginning, Tala said. Training continued for days. Each morning, Ravi learned more about the alien technology. Each afternoon, he worked in the city's engineering halls with a group of builders and energy shapers. They showed him how their machines grew from crystal seeds, how their power lines were living threads that carried both energy and sound. He showed them in return how to strengthen circuits, how to create backup systems that could run even if the main source failed. The engineers were curious about his ideas, asking questions about human designs and how they could blend them with their own. One day, while testing a small energy barrier, Ravi had an idea. What if we made the shield not just for one person, or one gate? What if we made it cover the entire dome? The chief engineer, a tall alien named Lurin, tilted his head. Our power cannot hold such a thing for long. But if we connect it to the heart crystal and store extra energy in smaller nodes around the city, it might work, Ravi said. If one node fails, the others can take over. Lurin thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. Possible. We will try. Tala visited often, watching the progress. She seemed proud of how he blended their ways with his own. You are doing what the visions showed, she told him one evening. Not by becoming one of us, but by bringing what you are into what we need. Still, there was an unease in the city. News from the scouts spoke of the enemy fleet drawing closer. The council kept their voices calm, but Ravi noticed guards posted at more locations and patrols moving faster. One night, while leaving the engineering hall, he heard voices in a shadowed corner. He paused, the words too low to catch clearly. But one thing he understood, the word gate. The two figures moved away quickly, disappearing into the crowded street before he could see their faces. When he told Tahla, she grew serious. We must be careful. If the traitor moves before we are ready, the shield will not be finished. The next morning, Tahla began teaching him more than combat. She showed him how to read their written language, how to understand the patterns that carried hidden meanings. Some messages were passed in designs on fabrics, others in the arrangement of plants in a garden. In her culture, symbols spoke as loudly as words. You must see the signs, she said. A shield protects not only against what strikes openly, but also what moves quietly. Ravi practiced reading the patterns, slowly becoming better at, noticing details he would have missed before. Once, he spotted a market stall with cloth arranged in a way that warned of danger. When he pointed it out, Tahla confirmed that the shopkeeper had been a scout long ago. The more time he spent here, the more the city began to feel less like a strange world and more like a place he could understand. The people, once only curious or doubtful, began greeting him by name. Some even offered him small gifts, a carved crystal pendant, a cup of sweet drink, a woven band for his wrist. But there were still those who avoided him, their eyes holding mistrust. Tahla noticed, too. Change is never easy, she said. Some fear that an outsider cannot be the shield we need. You must show them otherwise. Work on the dome-wide shield moved quickly. The engineers built the first energy node in the main plaza, its crystal core pulsing softly. Others were hidden under bridges, inside gardens, and even in the towers. Each was linked to the heart crystal through living energy threads. As they neared the final stages, Ravi tested the system. When the nodes activated together, a thin silver shimmer spread across the inner surface of the dome. It was not yet strong, enough to stop a full attack, but it was proof the idea worked. That night, the city held a small celebration in the plaza. Music filled the air, played on instruments that looked like curved glass, but sounded like deep metal strings. Lanterns floated above the streets, glowing like captured stars. Tahla stood beside him, watching the people dance. They see hope. Again, she said. For now, Ravi replied. But we still have to finish before the enemy arrives. She looked at him, her expression serious. We will, and when they come, they will face more than they expect. As the music swelled, Ravi felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had not asked for this place or this role, but he was no longer just a visitor. The work he was doing mattered. These people mattered. The celebration ended late, as they walked. Back to their homes, Tahla paused. Her gaze swept the shadows between the buildings. Someone is watching, she murmured. Ravi turned quickly, but saw nothing. Still, the feeling of unseen eyes stayed with him until he reached his room. That night, he dreamed of the dome under attack. Ships firing from the sky, the heart, crystal dimming, and a shadowed figure opening the gates from within. He woke with his heart pounding, knowing the dream was more than fear. It was a warning. 3 days after the celebration, the warning came. A deep, echoing tone rang through the dome. People in the streets stopped what they were doing. Merchants froze in their stalls, and children were pulled close to their parents. Above, glowing, banners of light appeared along the dome's curve, each carrying the same symbol, a spiral crossed by a jagged line. Tahla's face hardened when she saw it. The scouts have sighted the enemy fleet. They will reach our outer system in 2 days, Ravi felt a cold knot in his stomach. Then we don't have much time. The council called an immediate meeting in the Great Hall. Ravi stood beside Tahla as the elders spoke. The scouts reported that the enemy ships were larger than expected, equipped with heavy weapons and boarding craft. Their path was direct, showing no sign of hesitation. "They will strike the heart crystal," one elder said, "and they will try to open the gates from within. We must be ready." Ravi stepped forward. "The shield system is almost complete. If we connect the last 3 nodes today, it will be able to cover the entire dome." The chief engineer, Lurin, nodded in agreement. "The design will work. It blends our crystal power with his human circuit networks. If the enemy attacks from the sky, they will meet a wall they cannot see until it stops them. But if the traitor acts before the system is active," Tala added, "the enemy could slip inside before the shield is at full strength." The elders gave Ravi full permission to finish the work immediately. He and the engineers left the hall without delay. That day became a blur of movement. The last nodes were placed, one inside a hidden chamber under the council tower, one deep within the gardens near the dome wall, and the final one in a storage hall close to the outer gates. Ravi personally inspected each node. His hands moved fast, but his mind kept returning to Tala's warning about the traitor. Every time he turned a corner, he half expected to see someone watching. By evening, the nodes were all connected. The system was ready for its first full activation. They gathered in the engineering hall. Lurin gave a sharp nod. "Begin." Ravi pressed the activation pad. A hum spread through the floor. The lights of the nodes flashed in sequence. Then, across the entire inner surface of the dome, a silver shimmer appeared. It was faint, almost invisible, but when Ravi touched it, it pushed back with a solid resistance. "It works," he said. Tala's expression was calm, but her eyes were bright. "It will hold." The council ordered the shield to stay on low power until the enemy arrived, to avoid drawing attention too soon. Meanwhile, the city prepared for the possibility of battle. Food and water stores were checked. Medical centers opened extra space. Warriors trained in shifts, keeping weapons ready. That night, Ravi could not sleep. He walked through the quiet streets, checking the power lines connected to the shield nodes. In the garden near the dome wall, he saw a figure moving quickly between the crystal trees. "Hey!" Ravi called. The figure froze, then darted away. Ravi ran after them, but the twisting paths slowed him down. By the time he reached the far side of the garden, the person was gone. The next morning, while inspecting the outer gate's shield node, Ravi found something worse. A small device attached to the power line. It was not part of the design. Its shape was jagged, and faint pulses of red light ran across it. He called Tala and Lurin at once. Lurin's face darkened as he examined it. This would have sent a surge through the shield network. It could have forced the gates open from inside. "A sabotage device," Tala said quietly. Ravi looked around the hall. "Someone placed it here. Someone with access to this area." The chief engineer frowned. "Only a few of my team have that clearance, and they are loyal." "Loyalty is easy to claim," Tala replied. "We must watch closely from now on." They decided to keep the discovery secret from most of the city to avoid panic. Ravi and Tala began working together more closely, often moving without telling others where they were going. 2 days later, the scouts' final message reached the council. The enemy fleet had entered the system. Their speed meant they would reach the dome before sunset. The shield was brought to full power. The silver shimmer became stronger, visible even from the far streets. The people gathered under it, looking up with both fear and hope. From the council tower, Ravi could see the black shapes of the enemy ships growing larger in the pale sky. The first wave of attacks came quickly. Bright lances of energy struck the dome, but the shield flared and held. The impact sent ripples of light across its surface, but no damage showed. "The shield is holding," Lurin said over the comms. "The enemy changed tactics. Small boarding craft broke away from the main ships, heading toward the outer gates. Ravi's hands tightened into fists. "That's what the traitor is waiting for!" Tala pointed toward the far side of the city. "One of the gates is flashing. A signal. That is not part of our system." Ravi grabbed his tool kit. "Then we shut it down ourselves." The two of them raced through the streets as the sky above blazed with battle fire. They reached the gate's control hall just as a figure stepped back from the panel. Ravi recognized the curved shape of the sabotage device in their hands. The traitor saw them and ran. Tala chased them into the shadows while Ravi pulled the device free from the panel, cutting its power before it could send the surge. Over the comms, Lurin's voice came through, tense but steady. "The shield is stable. The enemy has been slowed, but they will try again." When Tala returned, she shook her head. "The traitor escaped, but they will not use that gate now." Above, the enemy ships began to pull back, their attack slowing. The shield had done its job for now, but Ravi knew the danger was far from over. The fleet would not leave so easily, and the traitor was still inside the dome. Tala's voice was quiet but firm. "They will return, and when they do, we must be ready to end this." Ravi nodded. "Next time, we won't just hold them off. We'll make sure they can't come back." The sun dipped low behind the crystal towers, casting long shadows across the city. The calm before the storm pressed heavily on everyone inside the dome. Ravi stood at the edge of the council tower balcony, his eyes fixed on the dark shapes, gathering beyond the dome's protective shield. "The enemy has returned," Tala said beside him, her voice steady but tense. "This time, they will not be so easy to stop." Ravi nodded. His heart beat faster than usual. The last attack had tested their defenses, but now the enemy came with more ships, larger weapons, and a clear plan to break through. Inside the council hall, the elders had gathered with the warriors and engineers. Plans were set for defense and counterattack. Tala, as the seer, moved among the people, offering hope and guidance. Ravi prepared his tools and weapons, ready to use his knowledge and skill to protect this strange new home. The enemy fleet moved closer, their ships dark and menacing against the twilight sky. Energy beams fired from the lead vessels, striking the dome's shield. The silver shimmer flared bright, absorbing the blasts and sending waves of light across the city. The shield held, but the energy cost was high. Ravi and Lurin monitored the power levels. "We cannot keep the shield at full strength forever," Lurin warned. "If the energy drops too low, the dome will be vulnerable." "We need to slow their attack," Ravi said. "Make them waste their energy." From the streets below, the warriors formed ranks. They held weapons that pulsed with energy and shields that could bend the light. Tala stood with them, her presence inspiring courage. She whispered prayers in her language, and some warriors closed their eyes, drawing strength from her words. The enemy sent their boarding craft again, small ships that aimed to land on the dome's outer surface. Ravi watched as the shield nodes lit up in sequence, blocking their approach. Several boarding ships were destroyed before reaching the city. But this time, the enemy was prepared. Suddenly, a group of craft broke through near the eastern gate. Ravi's breath caught. The shield flickered there, a weak spot appearing for. "The first time! Tala!" he shouted. "They are breaking through the eastern gate!" Without hesitation, Tala sprinted toward the gate with a squad of warriors. Ravi followed, grabbing his energy staff. The streets were alive with movement, people running to safety, and defenders rushing to the front lines. At the gate, the enemy boarding craft had landed. Dark figures emerged, armed with strange weapons. The warriors met them immediately, clashing in bursts of light and sound. Tala fought fiercely, her energy blades slicing through the attackers with precision. Ravi joined the battle, his staff glowing as he struck down one of the enemy fighters. Despite his lack of formal training, he moved with growing confidence. The skills he learned in recent weeks were becoming part of him. The fight spread through the streets near the gate. Warriors pushed the enemy back, but more boarding craft arrived, pressing the assault. Suddenly, a sharp alarm sounded from the control hall. Ravi's comm crackled. "The sabotage device was not the only one," Lauren's voice said. "We have found signs of another attempt to disable the shield near the northern wall." Ravi's eyes widened. "The traitor is active again. We must stop them before they cause more damage," Tala said. Leaving the battle at the gate to the warriors, Ravi and Tala ran toward the northern wall. The streets were darker here, shadows deeper between buildings. Their footsteps echoed as they moved quickly. At the control chamber, they found the door forced open. Inside, a figure worked frantically on a console, trying to disable the shield node. "Tala?" The figure turned, surprise flashing in their eyes. "You have betrayed us," Tala said, her voice cold but calm. "Why?" The figure hesitated, then smiled bitterly. "I only want what is best for our people. The Council's way will lead us to ruin." Ravi stepped forward, his staff raised. "You risk everything for your own belief. You will not succeed." The traitor lunged at Tala with a hidden blade. She dodged easily and struck back with a flash of light from her blade, disarming the attacker. Ravi moved quickly to secure the control panel, repairing the damage before the shield could fail. The traitor tried to run, but the warriors who had followed them caught the figure before escape. With the traitor captured, the shield's power stabilized. The silver shimmer on the dome grew stronger once more. Back at the eastern gate, the battle was reaching its peak. The warriors, led by Tala and Ravi, were pushing the enemy forces back toward their boarding ships. The attackers fought fiercely, but could not break the defenders' resolve. Ravi looked up as the enemy ships began to retreat, their weapons growing quiet. The shield had held. The city was safe, for now. Tala stood beside him, her face shining with relief, but also determination. "This is only the beginning," she said. "The enemy will return, but so will we. Together." Ravi nodded, feeling the truth in her words. He had come from a quiet life of fixing machines. Now, he stood as a protector, a shield for a people he barely knew but had come to care for deeply. As the stars appeared beyond the dome, shining bright and endless, Ravi realized that this was his place now. The bond Tala had spoken of was real, not just a vision, but a promise of strength, trust, and hope. Together, they would face whatever the future held. The battle had ended, but the city was not yet safe. The enemy ships had retreated beyond the system, but their threat lingered like a shadow over the dome. Ravi and Tala stood once more at the balcony of the council tower, watching the stars. "The skies are quiet for now," Tala said softly, "but the war is not over." Ravi nodded. "We held the shield. We fought together. I never thought I would find a place like this." Tala smiled. "You were never meant to be just a visitor. You are part of us now." The days after the battle were filled with repair and rebuilding. The city's people worked side by side, fixing what had been broken, strengthening the shield, nodes, and preparing for the future. Ravi found himself teaching the engineers more about human machines and learning even more about the alien technology. The blend of their knowledge was becoming stronger, a new way of building and protecting. One evening, the council called a special gathering in the Great Hall. The elders sat in a circle, their faces serious but hopeful. Ravi and Tala stood before them. "The seer's visions have always guided us," the eldest said. "And now, the bond has been tested and proven. Ravi of Earth, you have become our shield. Tala, our seer." He gestured for Tala to come forward. She took Ravi's hand gently. "In our people's way," the elder continued, "when two bondmates stand together, their strength becomes one. Their promise seals not only their hearts but the future of our world. Tahla and Ravi looked at each other, understanding the weight of the moment. Without words, they nodded. The council began the ceremony. Light flowed from the heart crystal, filling the hall with soft colors. The patterns on the walls shifted to show scenes from the past, times when bondmates had saved their people and brought peace. Tahla and Ravi stepped into the center of the circle. The light wrapped around them like a warm embrace. The air hummed. With energy as the bond was sealed, Ravi felt a deep calm fill him, a connection not just to Tahla but to the city, the dome, and the people who trusted him. When the ceremony ended, the crowd erupted in cheers. People came forward to congratulate them, their faces bright with hope. That night, Tahla and Ravi walked through the city gardens. The flowers glowed gently in the dark, and the stars above shone like distant fires. "You have changed everything?" Tahla said quietly. Ravi smiled. "No, we changed it together." They paused by the heart crystal, now shining stronger than ever. "This city will grow," Tahla said. "Our people will be safe." Ravi looked up at the stars. "And maybe one day I will see Earth again," Tahla took his hand. "When that time comes, you will not be alone." The future was uncertain, but together they were ready to face it. The bond between them was a promise of protection, friendship, and hope.